Hey y'all, how's it going? So in this one, it's pretty exciting. So this is probably a problem that a lot of you have been seeing, and it's not really a problem. It's kind of just a limitation of what Streamlit has natively. But if we select Fran and Helen, for example, and then refresh the page, Streamlit is, without you doing anything, it's just going to by default go back to what these values originally were. Now there are a couple different ways to do them. What I'm going to show you here is how we can do what are called query parameters, so that we can send the link to other people, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here's kind of what it looks like as the finished result. You might have seen this kind of syntax before, where it has the question mark, then it has the key and the value, and then it has an ampersand to do another key and another value. And so if we now do Fran and Grace, you see these change in the URL bar here. So now if we refresh the page, these are going to stay by default. And the advantage with doing this here is now you can copy and paste the link and send it to your buddy and say, hey, look at this awesome app that this person created. And that'll be great. So yeah, let's get into it and I'll show you. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to create two new functions. I have the helpers file open here because I probably want to be able to reuse this in the future. So the first one that we'll do is get URL param. And this is going to take in the key, right? So that'll be either the x-axis or the y-axis. And so what we're going to do is this is just simply going to return. We'll do st, we'll import that in a second. St dot, yeah, query params. And then we're going to use the .get method because we want to try to get whatever the key is, and then we want to pass something by default if for some reason this isn't included in here. So we're going to have a default value, and we'll set that equal to none right now. And okay, so this will take default. Right? Simple enough. Let's import Streamlit right now. Import Streamlit as st. Great. So that'll resolve that error that we're seeing down here. Now we want another method for def set URL param, the opposite, right? And that'll be the key, and then that one will simply just be so we'll do st dot, see, now we have the nice intelligence, query params. And so query params it's a giant dictionary basically, right? So this key, which is going to be either x-axis or y-axis, we're going to just set that as any other dictionary that we would do, and this is going to be equal to a value that, come on, we will, whoops, why did that get deleted? We will set as another value that we set here, right? Okay, alright, so now over in main.py, what we want to do is we're going to get two new variables, and this is just going to get whatever is in the URL parameters. So for lack of a better term, we'll call this X selection and Y selection. Do X selection right now. So now we can do helpers dot get URL param, and then the key we're going to set equal to just X underscore axis, and then let's actually move this after numeric columns because the default value that we want to use default equals, we'll just do numeric columns and we'll just get whatever the first value is, so the 0 index. And then for Y selection, we'll just do same thing. So Y selection, Y-axis, and then this will just be the second value, so index 1. So to refresh your memory, numeric columns is going to be basically just any one of these, right? And you'll see here I added a print statement and just printed this out. It's a big long list, right? So we're going to introduce a new parameter in a second on x-axis. So the options right now are just any of these numeric columns, so anything in this list. So the new parameter that we're going to add is called index. And what this is going to be is this expects an integer of basically just one of these in the list. So if you say like index 1, it's going to be height or something like that. So X selection is, we're expecting that it's going to be a value like age or height, right? And we want to get the index of where that is in numeric columns here. So we're going to do numeric columns dot index. That'll get the actual index where it is, so that these two will line up right now. And this will just be X selection. So for Y value, it's going to be slightly different because this is what we're using for options, right? So if you remember back, we didn't want this to be equal to what we have on the x-axis. So this is going to be the list that we're choosing from. So I'm going to abstract this out into another variable and just call this Y values. Then that'll just be equal to the list that we made. So over here we can just do Y values. And then the reason I'm doing that is now when we specify the index, we're going to want to use Y values dot index and then the Y selection. Okay. Before moving on to actually setting the URL parameters, I just want to kind of be a good steward here. It's non-obvious like what this is doing at first, so I'll just say something like we don't want x-axis and y-axis to be the same. Alright, so moving on to actually setting the axis or setting the URL parameters. What we're going to do is we'll just right below the display that we're setting, we'll just do helpers dot set URL param, and this one's the x-axis. And this will be the value x-axis, that's what we're setting. And then we'll just do the same for the y-axis down here. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and test it. Alright, so you'll see when you boot up the app and enter the URL, it'll instantly put in the x-axis and the y-axis. And so this should happen every time that we make a selection on one of these. So if we set this to Fran and this to Grace, then see the URL params instantly change. So if we refresh the page, since we're just reading whatever these values are, they're automatically populated on the select box here. So that is all that I wanted to show you for this one. So thank you for watching.